Hi guys, this is Bo. I have the AC on, so you might not. I might actually have to end up recording this audio on just dub it because the AC is really loud. I live in an area that's pretty hot. It gets to like 95 degrees. So anyway. This is a weird setup because I don't normally record videos, so I have a kind of like a makeshift. I'm actually recording on the floor, and the camera is on a table. The crop when I record video, it barely fits it in frame. Most of the time I'll be looking like vertical, but the actual frame you need to see is the full, the comic itself is actually pretty big. So this is the Crisis Absolute Edition 2026 version, because previously we did have a previous Absolute Edition. And that came out, oh my god, 2005 maybe? Anyway, so yeah, so if you have not bought this yet, I think most of you who likes Crisis on Infinite Earths and George Perez, Marv Wolfman, and the DC universe and the importance of this story will already have bought this Absolute Edition. But if you haven't, I'm gonna give you kind of like a broad overview of it, and if you like it, you should definitely buy it. I think it's a really good value, and I'll talk more about it in details in a little bit. But so yeah, starting off, it's this reflective prismatic box cover, which I'm not a fan of. I think it makes it hard to see the artwork because of the reflection. And then I think worse off is the credits here are not, I can barely read it. It's just Marv Wolfman and George Perez. But because it's white on prismatic color, you can't really read it. Now, black and yellow, maybe you can read that. The black, clearly you can read that. But as far as anything white, it is incredibly hard to read. So this part here is readable, but like I said, from a readable perspective, I don't like that it's white. They could maybe put a border around the credits, and then you can basically read it then. And also I feel Jerry Ordway's name is missing on this credit. I understand why they went with just the two creators, but I really feel this is a Jerry Ordway. At least he's contributed it. He came on late in the series, I think issue 5, but he basically saved the project to keep it on a schedule. They were always behind. So you do get 2 books in here. You get the Crisis, you get the main Crisis book, and then you get the making of the Crisis, which is a bonus book. As you can see, it is it's pretty sizable. Compare that to the original bonus book, the compendium. That's a little much smaller. I think there's very few pages in this compendium version. All right, so what is? Oh, yeah. So it's a pretty tight fit. So you get the 2 covers, one by Jerry Ordway and the other one is Alex Ross. Originally it was an Alex Ross project. I think he wanted to paint poster for it. So that was commissioned in 1998, I think. So what happened is, I think Alice Ross just wanted, like a cover, and then George Paris took it to another level by adding like 600 characters in here. The interesting thing about that project, because there's actually a section in here where Alice Ross talks about his experience in making the book, and I'm not a fan of the trifold. So the problem with the trifold is, I mean, it's cool when you fold it out and you get like a full 3-sectional, but you really need to close it correctly. So what I did there was not close it correctly, and then it can get caught in the thing. So yeah, so what's interesting about the Alice Ross poster is he actually had his friends and models come and pose for him in the costume, in the pose that George drew. So if George drew it like this, he had the model stand in the same, and that's done for his painting process, which he requires like light and so on. So he yeah, so basically he says he basically had all the character, and if he didn't have the character, he would have models doing the same pose as in here. And if there's over 500 characters in here, that means he has 5 different photographs of each of these characters. Well, I suppose with the heads you wouldn't really count that, but as far as the full body, like standing and stuff, I'm assuming he had them do specific pose. For example, the cyborg one, he probably had to get a doll to do that. Anyway, so it's a pretty interesting process and how he works. That's new. That's something that I only learned from this book, so that's kind of cool. And then you get the original poster painting that he did. And then on this one is the black and white inked by Jerry Ordway version. And then you get the color version. And then if you're interested, you can get a guide to all the character that appears on here. Like I said, there's 574 characters. All right, but yeah, the bonus book is actually pretty cool. Most of it is taken from Behind the Crisis, which is the $500 book, or it came in a $500 box set. And the thing that Behind the Crisis offers is a bunch of the stuff that appears in the bonus book. So for example, these meanwhiles does appear in this version here. So I love these original art. I think they reproduce it really well here. It's much better than Behind the Crisis book. Behind the Crisis book does print the original artwork, but it's not nearly as good as the but I can find a couple of samples. Well, I mean, these one are from Jerry Ordway. So for example, I'll do this one. I know this one, A Flash of Lightning. So you can see it. It's viewable, but it's not as clear as but as in the new book. I think that appears a little later. Yeah. So you can see here, it's reproduced a little better. I know it's hard to tell, but just believe me. There's a lot of like I can see like Xerox lines here, like just I can see basically artifacts of something that well, maybe it's here as well, but believe me, this maybe it's a larger size too. Okay, I'm not making a good case for it, but believe me, these pages, which here, these pages are gorgeous. Yeah, I don't know if that actually appears in the Behind the Crisis book. I think it's only because they only had pages that Jerry Ordway had, like Xerox, I think. Yeah, so I don't think. Yeah, I should have done research on this before I did this. But yeah, this is new here. I mean, to me anyway. I'm sure it's online. You can find them online, but this is gorgeous. I love the ink. So yeah, so it's Dick Giordano. So basically, that's why this didn't appear in this book, because I think only Jerry Ordway had his copies available here. That's why, yeah, so some of this stuff I haven't seen before. But, so like this example, this Joe Staton creation of Guy Gardner, it looks much better here than in the Behind the Crisis book. Just trust me, bro. No, I mean, I'm serious. I've looked at it before. I might not have it bookmarked or handy. Yeah. Actually, that's not bad. Maybe what I'm thinking of is this original compendium. So, compendium. You can see the special feature, and yeah. So this is the version that they have. It's not great. It's like a purplish print. It's very small too. And then we have the original art page. And notice Guy Gardner is not. He's in a standard costume. But at the time, they didn't know that he was getting a redesign. That's why George drew him in a standard costume. So you can see here the standard costume. And then what Jerry did is he basically, when he inked it, since he got the new design, he inked it. He actually drew this. So all the Guy Gardner stuff is drawn by, I guess you could say the art is by Jerry Ordway. Yeah. So a lot of the same special features that's reprinted here. So what I'm gonna say is, so I think a lot of people are interested in what's in here that's not been presented yet, and I can tell you that all well, that's gorgeous there. All the monitors appearance pre-Crisis is readable here. Okay, so you get a full page of all of his appearances leading up to Crisis. So basically, this is a huge chunk of the book here. It's all monitors appearance. Okay. Now, they did kind of printed it in here, but it's not readable, and it's been basically reduced to thumbnails. Let me, okay, so I don't have it here. Yeah, here we go. So it's been reduced. This is not readable. Oh, my cat's here. So yeah, so they reduce his appearances to these thumbnails. I do like that you can see all the pages, like presented in a readable format. So it also includes, so you're not supposed to see what the monitor looks like, but in one of these appearances, look at that, the monitor is drawn. So you're not supposed to see this. DC, I guess their editor didn't catch it. But yeah, so the monitor is supposed to appear in like, yeah, so this actually is the full appearance in Tales of the Teen Titan number 58. But previously, you're only supposed to see like his hand here. You can only see his hand or like a shadow. Yeah, because see this shadow here. It's really fun. Yeah. So yeah, the crisis index, and so both of them. So the crossover and the original index. So that appears. That's a good chunk of the book as well. You get a reprint of Amazing Hero number 66, which includes like interviews and stuff, and then a reprint of number 91. And this is a really good one because it includes an interview with Jerry Ordway, Mark Wolfman, and George Perez, interviewed by Mark Wade. Here's the Andy Mango's Monitoring the Monitor. Okay. So if you didn't have these magazines, it's actually really nice to get it reprinted here. And then we have here History of the DC Universe, which has been printed in the main book of the new Absolute. So yeah, that's the Behind the Crisis. As far as the main book is concerned, so yeah, it does include History of the DC Universe in the main book. All right. So what is the difference between the quality? So this page is a really good example. By the way, it comes with a ribbon, which the original Absolute did not. All right, so what is new is I'm gonna do this page in particular because there's a lot of details that is in here that's not present in previous reprints, and the problem is the snow effects. So the snow effects actually causing much of the problem. You can see much more detail in this hostage situation. I can like zoom in a little. Let me zoom in. Let me. So you can see the girl here in the hostage. Notice the background, and then the other thing is Geoforce. If you notice his lower lips here, there are lines underneath his lips. You can see the lines. Okay. So, by the way, the original, let me zoom out a little. The original Crisis Absolute, I love this cover. I think there's too much going on, so the logo, they stuck the logo here, which I'm not fond of. But this should have been logo-less. Like should not have been any logos on here. I think George, when he designed this cover, is actually meant as a slip cover or a dust jacket, because the actual slipcase is the crisis. Actually, yeah. So yeah, so underneath it is just all right, so let's take a look at the page in question. Okay, so let me zoom in here. So yeah, let's take a look at the hostage lady. You notice the background here. It is not clear at all. By the way, that's just my cat running around. And then you look at the lips here. There is muddled. It looks muddled. Like I said, it's the snow effect that's causing the problem. All right, let's talk about the monitor's tape. So this is the correct version. It says monitor's tape. So this is the pencil. So this is the 35th anniversary, kinda. So it came out about the same time as the 35th anniversary. This was the $500 box set. So they fixed it in this version. The monitor tape, when they first printed it in 1998, technically 1999, because they had a horrible so it's the printing company, the separation house. They put on the wrong plate, and so two of the plates actually was repeated, and so they had to recall all the books. So instead of getting it released around Christmas time, it got delayed until the next year. So technically this book I didn't get this book until 1999. But it came out supposedly as 1998. But yeah, so this monitor tape here is not the original. And so all the sources from 1998 to 2019 basically uses this monitor's tape. And this monitor's tape is by Al Vey. And Al he worked on the original Crisis as a background inker for Jerry Ordway. So Jerry, in order to maintain a schedule, had hired helps. So basically they were his assistants. And he had, there's another guy like Mike. I think he's credited here for the first time too. Yeah, let me find the credit. So Mike McClan and Al Vey was Jerry's assistant, and they helped ink backgrounds. And you know, like Jerry would handle like maybe the faces, but anything that requires a lot of like maybe a lot of the stuff here, he might leave it to the assistant to ink, like any of the buildings in the background or the rain effects. So a lot of that is kind of, I mean, it's done to keep schedule. I mean, you can't maintain a monthly schedule if you have to appear at a comic convention, have to do, you know, I mean, it's hard to maintain that schedule. So yeah, you hired helpers. So yeah, so this is Al Vey. And so if you look at the original Absolute edition, it does have the Alve. You can tell it's owls because it's inked. It's all inked, and it's black, and you can clearly see what's going on. But the lines are thick, and there's a lot of fine details that you're not seeing. I mean, just trust me, it looks bad when you blow it up. So yeah, the new Absolute, it's probably the best version of the Crisis. So yeah, so this is the original pencils, and there's actually a lot more details here, because what you're seeing is actually whiteout, and then you're seeing blue lines that I have not witnessed before in all the previous version of the Monitor's tape. So this Monitor's tape is the best version that you can get. As far as the rest of the book, it is the best version of Crisis I've ever seen, but it's only because I meticulously looked at and compared to previous version. If you have a previous version, you're not really gonna care. I mean, it looks great, but it's not worth the $150. You know what I mean? So most of you already have this book, or at least one form of it. I'm actually really excited to get the compact edition, which is a lot smaller. And that might be really interesting to see George's artwork presented in a very small format. But also the price point, it's like $10. So this is $150. You have to really love this book. So for $10, I really recommend that. I mean, sure, it's smaller, probably hard to read, but for $10, it's like you can just have it as a Christmas gift. So yeah, so anyway, hope you enjoy that.